This half-term, the Fareham Musical Society Youth Theatre would be proving their versatility on stage as they act out a play based around one of football's worst disasters.
This is a show about the Hillsborough disaster and the events of the day leading up to it. It's a story about two best friends, two 17-year-old boys, celebrating one of their 17th birthday on their way up to the Hillsborough Stadium to go and watch Liverpool play Nottingham Forest for the FA Cup semi-final. And it just follows the events of these two boys, all the escapades they get up to on the way, the people that they meet. Very much a coming-of-age story about friendship and about family, but also focuses a lot on the events of the tragedy that happened. Slightly a little bit of the aftermath as well, but really helps to tell the story of the Hillsborough disaster in a more positive light for the fans that were affected by it.
Although written in the 90s, their Scarves Were Red remains a relatively unknown production.
It was originally planned to be staged in Liverpool for the 10-year anniversary in 1999. However, because it was very much still raw in Liverpool at the time, there was still the ongoing inquest into everything that was happening, and the newspapers and the police reports that were completely sort of misconstrued. A lot of the Liverpool fans felt that it was still too raw. Really wasn't the right time for the show to be displayed in Liverpool, so the idea to stage it was then scrapped, and it was then staged, I think it was 3 years later in Brighton was when it had its first premiere, and then it's very much been quite under the radar show since then. It's only been performed a handful of times across the country, so we're really lucky to be able to show it in Fareham. I think people look at the content of it and they think, oh, it's a show about Hillsborough, and I know when I very first was approached by it, my reaction was one of pure shock, to be honest. The fact that somebody would even think about writing a musical about the Hillsborough disaster. It's not something that you would associate as a family-friendly, show that you might want to go and see. But it really is one of those things that when you really sit down and you read the script and you actually sit and watch the performance itself, you get to see what it's about, what it's really about, and what the point is that we're trying to make with this story.
The serious nature of the plot makes it a surprising choice for children to tackle.
We've got a cast of 45 children who are absolutely incredible. What they're having to display in this show is kind of a maturity level that you would expect, like, for example, the Fareham Musical Society's main company of adults to be able to perform. You think of kids at the ages of sort of 7 to 18, they wouldn't be able to perform this normally. And what they've been able to pull off, and in a 10-week period, is absolutely incredible. So that alone is why people should come and watch this.
The performance has personal ties for one cast member and her family.
I love this show. I think it's so important for us to do it, and I think it shows in rehearsals what this youth theatre can do, because we always tend to do shows that are so much more vibrant and fun and cute, but this one really shows the talent that is inside our youth theatre, and it's just gotten so much better with every rehearsal. A lot of my family grew up in Liverpool and were affected by the Hillsborough disaster, so I've got one of my great auntie, she's coming down, and she was affected by the Hillsborough disaster. So it's really important to me that we get the show across, and I think it's going to really show to them what we can do.
I had heard of the Hillsborough disaster. I didn't really know what it was about. I knew it was about a football match. Apart from that, I wasn't really sure. But after doing the show, it shows what happened and how big of a problem it was and how it's affecting people still today. The rehearsals have been really good, and a few of them have been actually really, really emotional. It's a different show from what we've been doing. We did Elf recently, and it's a really big contrast, but it's really good, and I think it's brought us together as a group, and I've really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of other people have as well.
The Scarves Were Red will be performed from Thursday to Sunday this week at Henry Court Community College, Fareham. Charles Ray Palmer for That's TV.